Kaya's brain, please hold. Kaya's brain, please hold. Welcome! We've been waiting for you. Kaya's already started talking to herself. So Kaya's brain, please hold. Kaya's brain, please hold. Kaya's already started talking to herself, so you can go ahead and slip in through the back. Kaya's brain, please hold.
You ever heard of an Enneagram Test? Yeah, Enneagram, E-N-N-E-A. Gram. Apparently it's like a personality test, right? A personality trait test. And the reason why I know this is because I just came back from a hang with someone. And they were like, what number are you on the Enneagram test? And I was like, what? Like, first you guys wanted me to learn what my sign is, right? Then after what my sign is, there's like 3 signs I need to know. What are your big 3? So then I learned that, right? Then I learned my big 3. Now you want to know, what is my number on the Enneagram test? Boy, bah! Like, do you like titties or not? I'm just kidding. So of course I was like intrigued. I was like, the Enneagram test, like what is that? Like, what am I lacking in? Like what do I need to do? What test have I not aced? Right? So it turns out you can't like ace it. It's just like a personality test. And so I just figured, like, you know, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's a really good question. Because, like, honestly, what business do you have dating if you don't really know, like, who you are intimately, like, your person, like, your personality, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't know that, like, if you're not, like, sure, then, like, I don't know, I feel like that could be grounds to be like, oh, you don't know? Well, you don't know yourself, so bye, you know? I don't think I could be mad at that, because, like, that's such a specific question that it's, like, that could be a red flag for somebody. So, in lieu of preventing any future red flag possibilities, I thought that we could take the Enneagram test. Or Enneagram test. I think that's how you say it. I think it's Enneagram test. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take that test and see how messed up we are. Is that even like what we're measuring? Like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I figured that would be a fun thing to do. Obviously, we're gonna make little Valentine's Day drinks, spritzer, adult bevy, if you will. And then we're gonna get down to it. We're gonna find out what grinds Kaya's gears. And not in a sexual way. Don't be gross. But let me get the stuff. Let's make our drink first. Gotta have our drink. Gotta have our drink. Okay, so I gathered all the ingredients. We're gonna put them all in this lovely single girl margarita glass, obviously. And then we're gonna take the test. But like, okay. So the ingredients are 4 ounces of fun water. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour everything into this measuring glass and then pour the contents into this glass because it says to pour it over ice, so I'm gonna pour it over ice. Alright, so 1, 2. Okay, that's enough. Here's the third. But I kind of want to be like 3. 3. And then whatever the rest is. Bye, fun water. Bye, fun water. Bye. Okay. Done. Discard. Then it said 2 to 4 ounces of hibiscus tea. So I've got that measured. In this, and we have 4, I think it's 4. Yeah, 4 ounces of hibiscus tea. Oh, yes. Crimson red. Okay, great. And then 2 ounces of lemon juice. Go. 2 ounces of lemon juice. Blue. Ooh, now she's pink. This is like a fuchsia color. This is like almost my favorite color. Add some glitter, baby. And we're almost there. Okay. So what we do is we pour this over ice. Cause like, it calls for simple syrup too, but instead of using simple syrup, I'm gonna use some of this ice, sparkling ice, black raspberry. It doesn't have sugar in it, but it has like Splenda in it, which I honestly don't know if it's better for you. Hello? Are you better? We'll never know, right? But anyway, so we're gonna add this instead of simple syrup because I honestly just didn't feel like making simple syrup. And then you're supposed to top it with some seltzer. So I have some cranberry lime seltzer that we're gonna top it with. And then I figured we can add like a blueberry or 2 for some garnish. So let's start, right? Pick out the best blueberries. Best looking ones. Bloop. Bloop. Oh, she sank. Well, maybe you didn't throw them in there. Yes! Let me show you. Oh man, the other blueberries sank. I'm trying to get it to you before all the blueberries sink. Juicy. Yes. Isn't she lovely? Let's taste it. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's get to the test. Okay, we got our drink. Now let's take this test. Let's just pray this test is not like you have to put your email in to get your results, or like, you know what I mean? One of those gotcha. Oh, my hair's in the way. So. Gotcha. You have to sign up and pay $5,000 to get your results. You know what I mean? Like, let's just hope this is just like normal and stress-free. Let's see. Okay, so they have me asking, nope, they are asking me a bunch of questions, and then they want me to answer between inaccurate, neutral, and accurate. And I have 5 bubbles. So I guess out of 5, like 1 through 5 stars. Like, you know what I mean? How true is it? 5 stars is completely accurate, and 1 star is completely inaccurate. Anywhere in between is anywhere in between. Okay, so the first question. Ooh, and apparently, okay, there's 9 personality types. So I'm gonna figure out which out of 9 I am. He was really serious about that number. It wasn't 1 through 3. Like, which number are you on that test? Dang. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what number I am on this test. Okay. I strive for perfection. 5 out of 5 stars. I work hard to be helper. I work hard to be helpful to others. That's very accurate. I'm trying to fix that, actually, but that's accurate. It is important to me that other people like me. I'm very neutral about that. That's a 3 out of 5. It is important to me to achieve great things. When I was younger, I thought that it was very important to me to achieve great things. Actually, you know what? I still think that's a 5 out of 5. I still think it's important to me to achieve great things, even though I'm failing tremendously. Woo! I make more significant contributions than the average person. I don't really know what that means. More significant contributions to what? Like monetarily, do I donate? Because I don't. Like, are we doing monetary contributions? Or are we doing effort? I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. I don't know what they mean by that, and who am I to say that I make more contribution? I contribute more than the average person. So I feel my emotions very deeply. It depends on what emotion it is, but if I can feel that emotion, then yes, I feel it very deeply. So that's a 5 out of 5. I have a sense that other people will never truly understand me. I honestly don't think I'm that hard to understand, but so far in my life, people don't even see me to understand me. So I'm gonna. That's the conclusion that I've come to. That like, no one even really wants to understand me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a 5 out of 5 with accuracy. I think deeply about things. That's a 5 out of 5 for accuracy. I am prepared for any disaster. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 1. I am not prepared for a single disaster. I am just a girl in the world. I don't even know how to start a fire, so. Not without a lighter. And even with a lighter, it takes me a couple tries. So that's a 1 out of 5 stars for I'm prepared for any disaster. It is important to me to avoid pain and suffering at all times. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 3 out of 5. Not at all times, because sometimes you can't avoid it to get what you want. I seek out experiences that I know will make me feel happy or excited. I mean, yeah, okay, accurate. I mean, seek out experiences, though, is the thing that's really getting me. Because I don't know if I seek out experiences. Actually, the experiences that I do seek out, I do seek them to make me feel happy or excited. That's the reason why I seek them out. So we'll give that a 5 out of 5 of accuracy. I see the positive in every situation. Definitely inaccurate. Well, we're going to give that a 2 out of 5. Because I'm going to say, I don't see the positive in every situation, but I do low-key find a solution to every problem. Or find a way to a solution to every problem. But my perspective is not positive. So, yeah, we're going to give that a 2 out of 5. I'm not afraid to tell someone when I think they're wrong. It depends on who it is. Do they matter to me? Do they keep wronging me over and over again? Then I'm not afraid to tell you. Because, like, I'm about to leave. But, like, if you're somebody that I know will hurt me if I say anything, like, physically or emotionally or whatever, then I'm probably on my way out, but like I probably won't tell you if I think you're doing something wrong, if it's gonna put me in danger. I'll probably just let that just go and then quietly back up out of there. So I guess I'm gonna have to say neutral on that. We're gonna have to give that a 3 out of 5 stars. I let other people make the decision. Inaccurate. I'm gonna say that's a 1 out of 5 stars. Inaccurate. I appreciate having rules that people are expected to follow. Accurate. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 though, because a lot of times when you have rules, people think that the people who are there to govern the rules think that they are above the rules, so they don't follow the rules, and so they use the rules to oppress others. And in that case, I don't believe in rules, because if the rules aren't for everyone, then there are no rules. So, I'm gonna go ahead and give that like a 4 out of 5, because people do take things a little too far. I am concerned about security more than anything else. Absolutely accurate. 5 out of 5. I think a lot about what will happen in the future. Absolutely. 5 out of 5. I don't fit in with ordinary people. Absolutely. 5 out of 5. There is rarely a good reason for changing how things are done. I think that's inaccurate. I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna give that a 2 out of 5. Because in all honesty, if you have a better way of doing something, please share with the class. There's always room for improvement. So I'm not gonna say that there's rarely a good reason to change how things are done. I think there's always reason to question how things are done, and if you can improve it, please. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna give that a 2 out of 5. I always finish my chores. I'm gonna give that a 5 out of 5. If they're real chores that I actually have to do, I always finish them. I'm always trying to be a better person. Why can't you speak, bro? I am always trying to be a better person. I would say that that is a 4 out of 5 of accuracy for me. I'd like to say 5 out of 5, but sometimes you just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? There are just those days where you just are like, F the world, and you can't get a 5 out of 5 star rating for that. So, I check carefully for mistakes and errors. On my part, 5 out of 5. Other people's, couldn't care less. I like to be around people who I can help. In real life, I would prefer to be around people who contribute and can add. My life seems to have been filled with people who need things or like depend on other people for their life's success. And I'm somebody who is usually there to help. So it may seem as if I enjoy helping, but in all honesty, I would like to relax like everyone else. I would like everybody else to carry their own weight and everyone to just be like on equal playing fields. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people pour into each other as much as people give. That's what I would like. So I would say that I actually don't like being around people that I have to help. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 2 out of 5. I like to feel that I am an important person in my social groups. I like to feel valued, meaning like I'm someone that you know that you can come to, that you know that will give you solid advice, that you know has your back, no doubt. You know what I mean? Anybody who is my friend is mine. That's what I've always said, so I got you. But like, I don't need to run things. I don't need to speak necessarily. Oftentimes, if I'm in a group of more than just like 3 people, I'm not talking at all. I'm more of a listener, and I'll give like little one-line zingers and stuff, but like I'm not really super interested in having to be the important part in a social group or a leader or anything like that. I just want you to know that I'm a real person. As long as you know that I'm real, I don't really care about the rest. So an important person in my social group. Important person, I'm a real person. I don't really know if important, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a 2 out of 5. It is important to me to be successful. That's a 5 out of 5. The organizations I belong to would not function well without me. I don't think that about anyone. Please don't ever think that you're not replaceable. That's ridiculous. We're gonna go ahead and say that that's inaccurate. We're gonna give that a 1 out of 5. I often feel overtaken by my emotions. Nah, not without reason. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 3 out of 5. I have always felt different from other people. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a 5 out of 5. I like to analyze things from every angle. 5 out of 5. I always have a plan for what I would do if things go wrong. We'll say 3 out of 5. Cause like, it's always in the back of my mind, but it's not like all the way thought out or anything. I avoid situations that bring up negative feelings. I don't watch scary movies because I feel like those are negative feelings. But if it's like a conversation that I need to have, like I don't avoid confrontation, if that's what this is saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say that's 3 out of 5. Because I don't know. I seek excitement, yes. 5 out of 5. I am good at seeing the bright side of things when others complain. I'm gonna give that a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I'm better at solutions. I'm not like sunny, like, oh my god, don't worry. It's more like, okay, so how can we figure this out? I saw this and this and this and this. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a realistic view, which is neutral, I feel. Yeah. So that's a 3 out of 5. I do not hesitate to call people out when they are behaving badly. It depends on who you are. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 3 out of 5. I go along with what other people want. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is a 2 out of 5. Because if you want something that I don't want, I most likely will leave. Like there's nothing written that says you have to stick around. That's why I don't understand peer pressure. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say 2 out of 5. People should follow the rules instead of doing what they feel like doing. I'm gonna give that a 3 out of 5. Why? Because the rules are there to kind of keep everybody the same. And I think sometimes rules can be stifling. I do understand that rules are implemented to keep people who take, like you give them an inch and they take a mile, or they take your life, or they take your life savings, or your social security number type of situation. Like, you know what I mean? You can't really like trust that people will abide by like honesty. You know, the honesty policy, right? So for the most part, when it comes to safety, I do think that people should follow the rules. If the rules are just there to make things harder, and you're not hurting anyone, I disagree. So I guess we're gonna have to go with a 3 out of 5 on that. I seek out relationships that offer me some type of protection. No, I'm usually the protector. That's actually 1 out of 5. I can clearly visualize what could happen in the future. No, we're gonna go ahead and say that's a 1 out of 5 as well. I couldn't tell you. If you would have asked me maybe like 5 years ago, I would have maybe had something to tell you. But at this point, baby, I live in America, baby. Average people often find me a bit weird. I'm gonna give that a 2 out of 5. Cause I'm not socially awkward. Most people don't know I'm weird until they get to know me. They're like, bruh, you're getting weird. And I'm like, yeah. But you have to know me to see my weird. So I'm gonna give that a 2 out of 5. I like to do things as I've always done them. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 2 out of 5 as well. I like to do things as efficiently as possible. So if I'm doing something and I see something or read up on something that's going to better how I'm doing it, then I'm definitely going to implement that. I'm definitely going to try this new way to make my life better, easier, more productive, and more fruitful. Next step. We're only on 5 of them. Okay. I persist until a task is done. Accurate. 5 out of 5. I spend time trying to discover and correct my faults and weaknesses. We'll go ahead and give that. I do spend time. Well, the thing is I don't spend time trying to discover them. I live my life and I realize them while living them, and so then I spend my time trying to discover remedies for my mistakes. So I'm gonna say that's inaccurate. I'll give it a 2 out of 5. I hold myself to very high standards. That's a 5 out of 5. I am a natural caretaker. That's a 5 out of 5. And a downfall. I want people to admire me. That's a 2 out of 5. I want to achieve a lot in my life. That's a 5 out of 5. If I am honest, I feel that I'm a bit better than other people. That is a 1 out of 5. I feel a deep sense of grief for what I have lost. That is about a 4 out of 5. I am an unusual sort of person. I mean, yeah, I would say that. It's 5 out of 5. I take time to understand things more deeply than most people do. It really depends on what things you're talking about, but I guess generally speaking, we'll give that we'll give that a 4 out of 5. Because I don't really go too far into it. There are some people who like really get into it. It is important to me to be prepared for any emergency. Again, we're gonna say that that's about a 2 out of 5. Maybe I should better that. I distract myself from any sad feelings that arise. I'm gonna say that's a 2 out of 5. I often make changes in my life when things get boring. No, I wish, because that sounds like a risk taker, and I'm not the biggest risk taker. So, no. We're gonna say that's about a 1 out of 5. I tend to be more optimistic than most people. 1 out of 5. I tell people what I think, even if it's hard to hear. 3 out of 5. It depends on who you are. I would rather follow the group than push for what I want. Absolutely inaccurate. 1 out of 5. I feel most comfortable in organizations with clear I feel most comfortable in organizations with a clear hierarchy. I'm gonna say 3 out of 5 on that. And because I do like the clarity, I don't like the power trip that comes with it. And oftentimes, you can't trust a human with too much power or hierarchy. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. I take measures to protect myself and my loved ones from harm. Absolutely. 5 out of 5. I make plans for many years into the future. That's literally a 1 out of 5. I have 0 plans, babe. I am an unusually unique person. Who says that? Like, who says who? You know what I mean? Like, compared to what? I think everybody is unique. We're just gonna do 3 out of 5. Because, like, what do you mean? I dislike trying new methods or procedure. Inaccurate. 1 out of 5. I focus on my responsibilities and duties. We'll say like 4 out of 5 on that. I read books that nope, I do not read books. That's one of the things that I'm trying to do this year though. 2026, more pages. But like, reading takes forever. It doesn't even matter how fast you read. It's like literally like reading is like watching a movie in parts. And like, unless I'm gonna sit there and read an entire book every day, like, anyway, I don't read. 1 out of 5. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things right. That is a 5 out of 5. I take the initiative to help other people and make their lives easier. I do. It's a 5 out of 5. I'm honest, I hate that though. I put in the effort to make a good impression on other people. 2 out of 5. Unless you're an employer. If it's a job interview, if you're gonna write those checks, then I definitely try to make a good impression. But if you're just somebody, I honestly could not care less. Okay. I set ambitious goals for myself. I don't know if my goals are ambitious. But if I were to think about how other people think about my goals, they would think that they were ambitious. So we'll say yes. I'll say 4 out of 5. I am an important member of my social groups. No. I'll just say 2 out of 5. Everybody can do whatever they want. Like, I'm not the glue to anybody's life, if that's what you're asking. I can describe my emotions in a lot of depth and detail. Accurate. Give me a pen. I can write you anything. I often feel like an outsider. Yeah. We're gonna do 4 out of 5 on that one. I find my mind to be a very interesting place. Interesting place. Accurate. Yeah. Interesting's a good word. I am always aware of what can go wrong in a situation. I would say 9 times out of 10, I am aware, or I've thought about it. So we'll say 4 out of 5. I have many ways of avoiding situations that get me down. Situations that get me down, you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll just say 3 out of 5. I am always up for a new adventure. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. Depends on how tired I am. But most of the time, yes. I believe that things usually work out for the best. I believe that the best is already written, so it doesn't really matter what you believe. So yes. Because in the end, good wins. So yes. 5 out of 5. I stand up for what I believe in, even if it upsets, even if it upsets other people. 5 out of 5 accuracy. I let other people take the lead. I'm going to say 3 out of 5, just because if you know what you're doing, please, by all means, be in charge. If you don't, I dislike people who disrupt things by breaking the rules. That is accurate. 5 out of 5. I make alliances with people who can help me stay safe and secure. I don't trust anyone. So that is a 2 out of 5. I am often looking ahead toward what is coming next. I don't know what's coming next. So I'm going to go ahead and say 2 out of 5. I have different interests than most people. I'm going to go ahead and just make that a 3 out of 5 because I think that's a subjective question. Like, I'm not like heavily infatuated with like dinosaurs or bugs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, most of my interests are pretty mild. So I'll just say 3 out of 5. The traditional way of doing things is the best way. I am going to say 2 out of 5. Only because the traditional way of doing things often comes from a lack of means. But now we're in 2026 and we almost have an abundance, an excess of means. So we have the opportunity and the privilege to kind of go further than what we traditionally would have done. But not in all things. Like wine, you need to leave that alone. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know, things like that. Things that also, like, that literally need time and this is the best way, leave that alone. But, you know, like wheels, for instance. They used to be wooden and they were on carriages drawn by horses. And now we have tires made of rubber. And I think that's a pretty good example of how traditional things can be improved. I am a responsible and reliable person. 5 out of 5. Actually, I'll say 4 out of 5, just because there's always room for improvement. I have a lot of plans for how I can improve myself. 5 out of 5. Accuracy, actually. I make sure that even small details are correct. It depends on what it is, so I'm going to go ahead and say 4 out of 5. I enjoy caring for others and their needs. That's a 2 out of 5. I honestly don't enjoy it. I just think it's important. I want to be a person that others can look up to. I'm going to say 3 out of 5. Only because I want you to be able to like kind of blaze your own trail, and everybody is different and you have to follow your convictions and your discernment. It doesn't have to do with any other individual but yourself. But I do try to align my life with the right thing to do. And so if that's what you mean by that, then sure. But I'm still going to leave it at a 3 out of 5. I push myself to succeed. I don't know. I try. Yeah, actually. 5 out of 5. I make important contributions to my community. Inaccurate. 1 out of 5. I rarely have strong emotions. Honestly, I would say that this is pretty accurate. I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. I literally don't care that much. So if I do care, we have a problem. I feel I never truly belong in social groups. I don't. That's a 2 out of 5. I find that to be mostly inaccurate. I want to learn as much as I can about how the world works. Like, in what way? In what way? I'm gonna do 4. I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do 4. I feel like I want to learn more than the average person, but I don't want to learn so much that it takes over my life. It is important for me to understand what can go wrong in a situation. Okay. 4 out of 5. It's important for everyone to know the pros and the cons of every situation. So, okay. I take steps to ensure I don't feel sad or lonely. I don't even ever think about that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that's a 1 out of 5. Trying new things keeps life interesting. Sure. We'll say 3 out of 5. Because, like, honestly, having... Wow. What? My entire camera fell off the tripod, which doesn't make any sense. But anyway. I don't even remember what I was saying. The last thing is trying new things keeps life interesting. I would say yes, but then at the same time, having a routine, having a community, having traditions and stuff like that also keeps life interesting and like stable and like comforting. So I'm gonna do 3 out of 5 for that. I am an upbeat person. We'll say 3 out of 5 because honestly it depends on who you are and the situation. I am usually the one to take a stand when others won't. I'll say 4 out of 5 on that. Other people have stronger opinions than I do. It depends on what it is. So I'm gonna say for most things, because most people care about things that don't matter. On the things that matter, you don't have a stronger opinion than I do. But on the things that don't matter, I don't have an opinion at all. So I guess we're just gonna have to do a 3 out of 5. Everyone has a role to play in society and a duty to do their best. I do think that that is true. 5 out of 5. I am concerned with protecting what I have. I have nothing. Nothing. I don't have anything to protect, so we're gonna go ahead and give that a 1 out of 5. I have a good sense of what my future holds. Absolutely not. We're gonna have a 1 out of 5 on that one. I am an average person with ordinary likes and dislikes. Are you an ordinary person? I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. Cause like, I don't know. I don't think so. I would say that is a 2 out of 5. I try new ways of doing things just to see if they will work. This is true. 5 out of 5. I have a great deal of willpower. Absolutely. 5 out of 5. Self-improvement is a major interest of mine. Absolutely. 5 out of 5. Oh, look. And just what I didn't want. I have to put in my email to get my results. Can we just talk about how ugly Beast is in Beauty and the Beast? Like, not even him as Beast. The freaking disappointment when the curse is lifted and he turns into a man. The way he looks as a man. It's like almost worse than the way he looks as the Beast. Like, at least with the Beast, he's like probably like 9 feet tall and is like, has a good like 400 pounds on him and can like literally move mountains. Okay, maybe he's like livestock, but like he speaks and like he is human underneath there. So you can like learn to love the Beast, right? So then by the time he turns into his human self, I'm like, ugh! This is the ugliest prince in the realm. Like, this is like, burn his castle. The Enchanted Forest does not need an ugly prince. Like, even when I was little, I thought that. I was like, oh, ew. Ew. And he has long hair still, which is like not clean. Like, I thought you were a prince. And not to say I'm against like long-haired boys, but like it just like wasn't good enough. I liked Shrek like way better. Like I wish Belle had the choice. Like, honestly, I wish Belle had the choice, because it was like Shrek. Wait, is Shrek like reverse Beauty and the Beast? It's like Beast and the Beast and the Dragon. But anyway, at least in Shrek, Fiona gets to like, well, she's cursed, right? And she's cursed, so she's already an ogre, bro. So like, she already knows what it feels like to be an ogre. So like, the sacrifice of staying in her cursed state with her ugly ass husband is like the perfect happily ever after, if you ask me. Because it was like 100% unevenly yoked before. But like, when the Beast turns into a prince, it's like, Belle, you dead should have married Gaston. Your babies are gonna be ugly as fuck. Like, honestly, ooh, that's like the biggest disappointment. That's the biggest disappointment. I think they did that on purpose too, because they're like, oh, she already fell in love with the monster, so we don't have to make this prince that cute. Which is like, it's just ridiculous. That should have been the best reveal ever. Like, Beast should have looked like Prince Eric. You know what I mean? Biggest disappointment ever. Who's got the munchies? I got the munchies. Hey. All right. So the munchie this time is actually suggested from somebody that I know. So let's see how this goes. It is an Oreo cookie wrapped in a piece of salami. Now, like, theoretically, it just sounds like a poor man's charcuterie. You know what I mean? Some chocolate with some lunch meat. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can talk myself. Like, this still... Anyway, let's do it. So I have, like, salami... But, like, I don't know how you're supposed to wrap it, right? So I have 2 pieces of salami to kind of, like, wrap it in. Or sandwich it, if you will. Okay, the longer I hold it, the greasier my fingers become. So let's just do this. Holy, holy, holy. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to decide how I feel about this. Like, am I gonna... Yeah. My problem with this one is I can't decide because I can't really taste them together. So the more I chew, some chews give me just Oreo, and then other chews give me salami, but like a sweet salami, like a almost like a candied bacon though. Like if you were to accidentally get maple syrup on your bacon. Like, neither one of them were offensive, but they also didn't go together. So they were like separately being chewed and situated in my mouth, even though they were consumed together. So that's just like nature telling me to never do that again. We'll see what my stomach says in about 20 minutes. But like my taste buds were not offended. They were confused, but they were not offended. And to that, I would say that that's a success. Success! I think that's the best munchie. Nah, that's not true because I really did like that peanut butter jalapeno munchie. That was a good one. I would dare say that was... I don't know if I would say it was good because I couldn't tell you if I'd do it again. But this one, I wouldn't do it again. And it wasn't that it was bad, it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But anyway, let's get to the results of that Enneagram test, okay? They tried to make me email and pay $30 to get the results, but they gave me the pie chart. So I have the top 3 numbers that I am. And so we're just gonna look up what each of those numbers mean, and that's the personality that I am. So the next time anybody asks me, I'll be able to be like, I'm this number, and this number, and this number. And don't eat salami wrapped Oreos. Ashante. Anytime you get a chance to dance in the rain, do it. Always dance in the rain. Sorry, I got so distracted. The rain, that's gonna get me every time. So I had to go do that. Then I wrote you a poem, but I have to read the results from my Enneagram first. So let's do that. So they gave me my pie chart, right? Which I had mentioned. And like, that's fine. So I said I was gonna look up what each one was, right? So it ended up being, well, okay, so the pie chart looked like 5 and 1 were equally the same. Honestly, it looked like 1 was bigger, but in the results, they were saying that I was a 5. They're like, 5s are like this. And I'm just like, okay, so I guess I'm a 5. I guess I'm a 5 and a 1. Because honestly, I'm gonna put it. You see? Like the 1 looks bigger than the 5. Like the piece of pie for the 1 looks bigger than the piece of pie for the 5. But they're saying that I'm a 5. So I must be a 5. But I think I'm also a 1. Just because you saw. So I'm going to read both of those. And then we'll see how true they are. Straight. Whatever. And then we'll see how true they are, what it even means, or if I agree. I guess it doesn't matter if I agree, because denial, baby, denial. But let's see. So let's look up 5 first. So 5. 5. Okay. A 5 on the Enneagram Test. Okay. So the Enneagram Type 5 is the investigator or the observer, and it's characterized by an intense desire to understand the world, driven by curiosity, intellect, and a need for self-sufficiency. They are analytical, objective, and often introverted, prioritizing privacy and knowledge to feel safe and competent. Type 5s value independence and tend to withdraw to conserve energy, sometimes struggling with isolation or emotional detachment. So far, this is looking right. Okay, the core motivation for a Type 5 is to be competent, capable, and knowledgeable, and to understand the world. Truth. A core fear, being helpless, useless, or overwhelmed by demands/emotions. I'll say helpless. Helpless. I agree with the helpless thing. Yeah. Key traits: analytical, perceptive, curious, self-contained, and often minimalist. Those are all real. Strengths: deep focus, objective, innovative, independent, and insightful. Okay. Challenges: can become isolated, detached from emotions, overly intellectual, and cynical. Also very true. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I think we need to do. What else is it saying? Common behaviors. They tend to collect knowledge as a way to prepare for the world and feel secure. Absolutely. Privacy seeking. They need significant time alone to recharge and may view intrusions as threats to their energy. Woo! Emotional detachment. They tend to process their feelings later or in private, appearing calm or unfeeling in the moment. Truth. Minimalism. They often prefer to minimize their needs to remain independent and avoid obligation. Absolutely. So that is very true. I don't disagree with any of this, actually. I don't disagree with any of this. So that's a 5. I guess I'm a 5. I mean, high 5. I got 5 on it. 5 out of 10. You know, I'm not mad. I think 5 is a prime number too, right? I don't know. Maybe it's a magic number? I don't know. Erase. I don't know. I don't know anything about 5. Just that I'm 5. Okay, now let's see what a 1 is. 1. On the... Okay. So a number 1. I want the same overview, babe. I want the same overview. Here we go. The Enneagram Type 1 is known as the reformer or the perfectionist. See, this is something that I also feel that I knew more than the other one so far. It's a strong person. That's not what it says. That's not what it says. It says, the reformer or the perfectionist is a personality type driven by a strong sense of right and wrong and a desire to improve the world around them. I feel this in my soul. Individuals with this type are principled, purposeful, and self-controlled, holding themselves and others to high standards while striving to avoid mistakes. They are often conscientious and ethical, acting as advocates for change and justice. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else? What did we say last time? Okay, core motivation and fear. Okay, so basic desire is to be good, to have integrity, and to be beyond reproach. Basic fear, being bad or corrupt, evil, or defective. Absolutely. Key motivation. They strive to improve themselves and the world around them, wanting to be consistent with their high ideals. Okay? Okay. Let's look at some personality traits. High integrity. One's value honesty and lead by example. Yes. Inner critic. They live with a powerful internal voice that constantly monitors and evaluates their thoughts and actions against a standard of perfection. Absolutely. It drives me crazy. Repressed anger. As a body center type, they experience significant anger but often repress it as they view expressing it as bad or imperfect. This often manifests as resentment or irritation. I feel that. I can feel that. Organized and methodical. They are typically very structured, detail-oriented, and reliable. I will 100% agree with this too, which is probably why the 1 and the 5 were literally the same size. Honestly, the 1 looked bigger than the 5. But I agree that both of these make up who I am. For sure. So that's what I'll say. I mean, I guess if anybody asks, I'll be like, I'm a 5'1". I'm a 5'1". 1'5". 5'1". You know what I mean? I don't know, cause yeah. Like I would have said probably that I was a 1 more than a 5, but like not necessarily. Honestly, it's just like from like. The 5 is not any less correct than the 1. I guess I just only knew about or identified more with the 1 as far as like my own self-reflection. But holler! Okay, if anybody ever asks me that again, I know my answer. I am number 1 or 5. 5, right? Whatever. I feel like they kind of go together too. One of them is like super critical and about change, and this one is super critical about themselves and change within. One of them is more like with the world and the other one is within. So I agree with those things. All right, okay, so now, since it's Valentine's Day, I did get you something that you kind of already saw in frame, but you can pretend you didn't. Thank you. I got you this bear. And I got you this heart. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this over here for you. And then I wrote you a poem. Wait. I wrote you a poem. Are you ready? Okay. Roses are red, and sometimes they're white. They also come in yellow, but no color seems right. I could search the world for a rose that'll do, but there is no such color as beautiful as you. The twinkle in your eyes, the mark on your cheek, the way you say my name, leaving me unable to speak. The sight of your smile leaves my lungs without breath. I will love you until infinity. The only stopping me is death. Oh my gosh, so I love you so much. And thank you for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, whether you're with someone or if you're not. If you're not with someone, happy Valentine's Day to you. Love yourself. Learn more about yourself. Take the Enneagram test. You know what I mean? Take yourself out on a date. Get your favorite chocolates. Eat your favorite foods. Do what you want to do. But anyway, thank you. I love you.
Kai's brain? Absolutely not. Because we do not need glitter. I don't think you're understanding the amount of responsibility that comes with glitter, Nightingale. I'm gonna have to call you back. Hi, friends. Going so soon? Well, let me sing you out. Ready? You're gonna repeat after me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am worthy. I am loved.